It's time for Outside the Box with Lincoln Stars head coach Rocky Roos and Lincoln Stars broadcaster Joel Norman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
And welcome into another edition of Outside the Box here on 93.7 The Ticket. Our show is always being brought to you by Raising Cane's. I'm Joel Norman. We're chatting Lincoln Stars hockey once again after a great weekend. Lincoln swept the home-and-home set against the Omaha Lancers and finishes the season against them 9-1. We're joined by Stars assistant coach Mike Zanella here tonight. Mike, how are we doing ahead of this one? Pretty good weekend for the Stars this past weekend.
Yeah, good weekend for the Stars. We had a lot of fun on the ice. 80-degree weather here too, so no complaints, that's for sure.
Something about playing meaningful hockey when the temperatures rise, isn't it?
Yeah, it's great. Going to the rink in your sandals once in a while is pretty nice too, so no complaints.
Nice change of pace. Putting away those winter jackets. Maybe not for too long, though. We were just talking about this off air. It's going to be in the 40s in Fargo this weekend. I was saying to a couple people in our front office, I'm a little worried the guys are going to get on the bus kind of like this, shorts and flip-flops, and then they're going to be regretting not having that winter coat with them once we get to Fargo.
Yeah, seriously. Last time we were there, it was in the negatives, right? It was freezing cold. So
yeah.
It's a little bit better than that, at least.
Way back in mid-February. It feels like a long time ago. But here we are, just 4 games remaining in the regular season. And boy, if you got a chance to catch it this past Saturday, you saw how fun that game was. The Stars rallying back from a 2-goal deficit entering the third period on Saturday to defeat the Omaha Lancers by 5-3 score after also defeating them the night before in another back-and-forth game. We played a lot of fun ones with Omaha this season, especially lately, Mike. And it was the Stars won the series 9-1, but boy, was this a competitive series. And for you and me getting introduced to this rivalry, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, I felt like it really lived up to all of the hype and excitement.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And this weekend was a great cap off to a great series for sure. It's funny, even when we were in Omaha, we score a goal, you'd hear a lot of Stars chants going. So, but no, their fan base is rowdy. They're right down the street, and they were down here at our rink too. So, very intense, high emotional games this weekend. I think for both teams, they were clawing for some playoff points, and we're trying to climb the standings, and there's a lot of pride on the line outside of everything. It came down to pride, and you could tell Omaha, they were going out with a bang. Last couple of times they got to play us, and didn't disappoint, that's for sure. Whoever came to the game got their money's worth, that's for sure.
Both games, too. Very easy to say that. Both games just had a lot of excitement with them. If you've got any questions for Mike Zanella or myself, give us a call on the Honda of Lincoln hotline, 402-464-5685. You can text us that same number on the Sartor Heyman text line, 402-464-5685.
Yep, and you actually got one right now from Chase B. He actually must have ran into you this weekend. He
yes,
says,
I did.
Nice meeting you last Friday in Omaha, Joel. My question is, are you guys preparing different? And are you guys preparing any differently to get a win this weekend in their barn, excuse me.
In their barn at Fargo. Yeah, Mike, that's a good question because it's been an interesting series with Fargo this season. Right now, it's even up 3 games to the apiece, 3 wins for the Stars, 3 for the Force. Last time up there was tough. Those were a couple of those playoff-style games we felt, as of late, feels like the last month the playoffs have already been going on with how many tight games there are. But that's a tough place to play at. But Fargo's on a little bit of a slide entering this weekend, too.
Yeah, I definitely think our eyes are all set on Fargo. I think even as soon as the game ended in Omaha, I think guys were already licking their chops a little bit. And, I feel like we owe them. Honestly, we went up there. We played 2 very good games when we were there, and we didn't really necessarily love the outcome. Coming out of there with no points was definitely hurt. The game felt a lot closer than that. And, I thought the guys deserved a better fate, but that's just the way the hockey gods work sometimes. It's not always in your favor, and hopefully sets us up for a great weekend this weekend.
It was a part of that tough February where it felt like there was just game after game where there was so much going right, but a couple minutes just cost the Stars the game. The ship has righted itself since then. You guys stuck with that. You've tied up the loose ends, and it's been really good hockey the last month plus ever since then. What adjustments do you think have been made since that month of February? Because March was great, 8-1, 0-1, really good start to this month of April as well. What things have you noticed different since February?
I think, the biggest thing is it's such a long season. You kind of get in the dog days of winter in February. There's not a ton of sunshine. It's cold outside. You've been coming to the rink for 7 months. I think just sometimes things aren't going your way. There were a lot of tight games, a lot of 1-goal games that we just were on the wrong side of. I think the message was really just to stick with it and to make sure we're having fun. I think Rocky and Art do a really good job of lightening up the mood when it's time. There's definitely a time for business and taking care of business on the ice for sure and away from the rink, but also you got to have fun. And early in the week, especially after a hard fought weekend, you got to hit the reset button a little bit and make sure the guys are having fun and having upbeat practices and smiles on the face. And, just because you lose a couple games, it's not doom and gloom, right? You get to live to see tomorrow. So we're very fortunate for what we do. But I think it was just kind of more of the dog days of winter. Like I said, it wasn't so much the way we were playing. We weren't getting blown out. Every now and then you'd have a really tough game, but we were in all those games, and a lot of those games we were out shooting our opponent. We couldn't find the back of the net. And, it's a lot of pressure on your goaltending when you're not scoring much. So I felt bad for those guys there for a bit, but luckily we bounced out. And if you look around the league, Fargo, Waterloo, Tri-City, those teams that we're competing with for those top spots, they've gone through slumps too. They've gone through some hard times, and, they bounce out of it as well. But, it's just kind of how you manage the highs and the lows of the season.
It is the up and down. And it's like you said, those really were the dog days. That was a tough weekend. 2 games in Fargo. You hit Sioux City on the way back because of a rescheduled game. No points on the weekend, but it felt like ever since then, it could have been at one of those situations where things continue to crumble or you find a way to just make things work moving forward. And you guys found a way. So I think that's something that has to be highlighted for fans. But you look back at the season series with Fargo has gone really good work on home ice. Just the first matchup of the season series was a tough one. The Force got that one. Every game since then, it's been so tight with them, it feels like. But you guys won 3 of the 4 at the Icebox. What were some things that you think stood out from those victories that you can kind of carry into this weekend's games?
I think anytime you play a team like Fargo and Waterloo, you got to play fast. You got to be able to play at their pace. Both those teams really like to transition quick. They're coming at you. They like to play offense. Fargo is very disciplined on the D side as well. They don't give up a ton. So when you get those opportunities, you got to try to make the most of them, but you got to play honest hockey against a team like Fargo. You try to cheat it and play on the offensive side of the puck. They're going to make you pay really, really quick and really often. But for the most part, I like our matchup. I like the way our guys have been developing and growing, and especially on the offensive side of the puck, we were having a hard time there for a little bit scoring goals, and it hasn't so much been a problem as of late. And, we think we could tighten up a little bit defensively going into playoffs here, but at the same time, we want the guys to play loose and relax and have fun and be creative out there and, use their IQ and their talent that they're given. So
they had that really solid top line, Max Swanson, Cole Knuble, and Brett Link. They split them up a little bit when we last saw them. I'm curious what they'll do to deploy them this weekend, and if they want to try to, have that solid top line, because those 3 together didn't have a ton of success against you guys. And that's a really high scoring unit with a ton of potential. What do you think the Stars were doing so well to slow those guys down out there? Was it being a little bit more physical with a couple of guys they had a chance to?
Well, I think first and foremost here, Joel, you're a pretty popular guy, and your shows travel throughout the league pretty heavily. We've heard from other coaches that they're listening to your show, so we can't give out too much information. But no, anytime you got guys like that on the ice, of that caliber of talent, you got to take away time and space. You be physical when you can. You don't want to take penalties on them, but you got to take time and space away. Be physical. Try to limit their puck touches, and that goes on the power play, right? You get those extra skill guys extra time on the ice with a man advantage. Even if they don't score, they're starting to feel confident. They're feeling good. They're touching the puck more. So you got to limit their offensive time, whether it's 5-on-5, 5-on-4, and hopefully no 5-on-3s, knock on wood here, right? But managing time and space on those guys is definitely crucial.
Wouldn't mind seeing the Stars get a couple 5-on-3 power plays. We saw that really help out to begin that third period on Saturday against Omaha. And, Mike, we talked about it a little bit after that game. Lincoln was down 3-1 heading into the third, 0 for 7 on the power play through the first 5 periods of the weekend. But you knew you guys were going to have the bulk of a power play to open up the period. And then you got the 5-on-3, and then that penalty, obviously, with the power play goal goes away, and you get still the 5-on-4, score on both of those, and then the eventual game winner also comes on the power play. What changed between the first 5 periods and the final period of the weekend to really get things going on the man advantage?
Well, I think with the power plays this weekend, we got some power plays early on in the game that we weren't quite sharp for. We didn't love the urgency to start the power plays and early in those games, and in between periods, we had conversations with the guys that we really need to hone in on some of these power play opportunities. Even if we're not going to score, we got to at least bring the momentum back to the bench for the guys coming out next, so we can roll from there. And A team like Omaha, they were trying to bully us a bit. They were playing physical and they were finishing their checks and they were taking a lot of penalties. And I think it got to the point where our guys were recognizing that if we don't produce on the power play, they're just going to keep kind of taking runs and stuff. So I think our power play guys really took it personal. There were some guys bleeding on the bench. And like I said, it was hard fought games and they went out and finally dug their heels in and said enough was enough and took over the game. And it was fun to watch. So
my favorite thing that was fun to watch from that was that emotion that you talked about. Both sides were playing with emotion. Omaha had a little bit more room because they weren't quite officially eliminated from the playoff mix before that game, but they knew the chances were really thin that they were going to get in, so they could let loose a little bit more, try to play as more free as they wanted, whereas the Stars, you can't do it. You can't have any guys getting suspended right now with 4 games left in the regular season. I love the way that you guys controlled the emotions of that team. What was something that you, Art, and Rocky, what was stuff you guys were saying to the guys? What was some stuff that guys were saying to each other to play emotional, but also not let things get over the edge?
Well, I think that's the exact message that we were saying, and that sometimes when teams are trying to keep up with you, they want to try to slow you down and get you off your game. And then this was a perfect test for our guys. Especially some of those guys that are towards the top of the list in point production. You're going to get keyed in on this time of year going into playoffs. So for us, it was a perfect example and a perfect situation for them to start getting used to playing through that and playing through those hard moments and the dirty areas and maybe sometimes with a shadow on you here and there and taking that time and space away. And how are you going to react? How are you going to bounce back? And are you going to back down and pucker up, or are you going to go out there and dig your heels in and fight for the space? So
I thought it was so showing that it was Doug Grimes who got that go-ahead goal, because it's a guy he's an emotional leader of this team in so many ways. And you saw him, I think fans enjoyed his gesturing for a little bit lower on the ice. Almost, I was guessing it was in reference to the standings when he was looking at Omaha. That was obviously a humorous moment for fans in that game, obviously fired up the bench. And I was talking with him about that afterwards, and he was saying that, his goal with everything was to fire up his team, was to look to the bench and get those guys going. And you hear that in a lot of different sports, that you could be emotional, you can get excited, but you've got to gear that toward your guys and in a way that isn't almost disrespectful or giving your other team any bulletin board material.
Yeah, no, absolutely. We tried to keep the focus on us in a lot of situations. And this weekend, it probably was the highest amount of emotions that I've seen in a series this year. And again, I think it's because it was the end of the rivalry here down the street with Omaha, and they really wanted it, and they were in our building treating it like it was their building. And a couple guys had something to say about that, and I was really proud of the way they answered. So good on Dougie and those guys. Obviously, we're not big fans of anything after the goals or anything like that, but sometimes you gotta stand up for what's yours.
Yeah, absolutely. 9 of 10 games won by the Stars against the Lancers, including each of the final 8. And Rocky was saying afterwards, should have been all 10. A good chance. It was a tough loss at Omaha, but just the sign of how strong the Stars were against Omaha. We're chatting Lincoln Stars hockey here on 93.7 The Ticket, as always being brought to you by Raising Cane's. And we'd love to have you join in on the conversation. Give us a call on the Honda of Lincoln hotline, 402-464-5685. Or text us again, that same number on the Sartor Heyman text line, 402-464-5685. The Stars right now sitting in 3rd place in the Western Conference standings. The Clark Cup playoffs begin 2 weeks from yesterday. Now, the Stars, where they currently sit, they would be playing right now, actually, at this time, most likely in a couple of weeks, Mike, if we get to this point. But the goal is to get into that second spot and get that first round bye. But the task is to somehow jump Waterloo. So 4 games remain for both teams. Tri-City's also 3 points back of Lincoln, so they have a chance, but they need a lot of help. The Stars 1 point back of Waterloo for second. You're looking at how things are going right now, and you've got to get some help from Waterloo, but I imagine the message you guys have had for the guys in the locker room, and they see the standings, it's got to be, we got to only take control of what we can.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And our message, you've been around long enough and you're really tight with the team, and it's one day at a time. It's making sure we have a good practice tomorrow, and even before that, make sure we're getting our rest and recovery tonight. We had a great practice today, and then tomorrow we got to get after it, and we've got some video to go over and take it one day. But all eyes are on Fargo at this point, and making sure we go up there on a mission. And from there, we let the hockey gods take over what they may. The things are out of our control, but as long as we take control of these next 4 games, and starting with this weekend, I like our odds. I like this group. I like the way we've been playing. I like our mentality, our culture. Everything is trending well at the right time. So should be an interesting few weeks here.
Yeah, it really should here. All these 4 remaining games are against playoff teams, and we talked about that kind of at the turn of the calendar from March into April, and so far the Stars have done a really nice job in those games. Tri-City coming to wrap up the regular season. That'll be April 21st and 22nd. 21st at the Icebox in the final home game of the regular season, so don't miss out on that. And get your tickets at LincolnStars.com. Our front office was already rolling them up. They've got a lot of prizes going to be tossing in the stands that day. The office overflowing with them. So lots for fans to look forward to with that game. But that'll be, again, last home game on April 21st. And then, of course, this weekend first at Fargo. So 3 of the final 4 games are on the road, Mike. There's a challenge with that. There's a challenge with any trip to Fargo. That's the longest in-conference opponent who the Stars play. So that's a challenge hiking out there. How do you guys prepare for that? You had Monday off this week, so that was kind of a way to both reward, I imagine, for the past weekend and also rest a little bit. And then Thursday's the big travel day. And I think the last time when we went out that way, you guys skated that morning first before hitting the road, right? Take me behind that, because I think some fans might see something like that and wonder, wait a second, they're going to have sore legs on the bus ride? Or is it more of a good way to get the legs going because of how long they're going to be on the bus?
Yeah, I think, Thursday practice-wise, we treat it like a normal Thursday. Doesn't matter if we were home on Friday or all the way in Fargo the next day. We're just practicing our normal time, our normal everything on Thursday, and then afterwards our guys will do their normal recovery and stuff, and hit the bikes and the rollers and all that, maybe a little light workout, and then we'll hit the road. We'll get a bite to eat and we'll hit the road. And I think the mentality is just to get there as early as we can, get comfortable in the hotel the night before. We'll have a nice team meal that Thursday night. And I know it's tough when you look at the schedule and you see three road games in 4 days, but sometimes, honestly, that's the best bonding that you can ask for too. I know Rocky really enjoys the trip out to Pittsburgh every year because it's a great way to start the year with team bonding. Well, what better way than to push 30 guys on a stinky bus for 16 hours each way? No, but in reality, it really is. You get to know you guys right away, right off the bat, and they get comfortable with each other, and it's usually some good stories after it too. So I'm looking forward to the trip.
It'll be really interesting next year with more of those Eastern Conference opponents in there. There's going to be more traveling, and it feels like this year, it's every time there's been a road trip, it's come at a right time. It's been that we kind of need a weekend where they can just lock in on being with each other. No other distractions. You're on the road playing hockey. And, people talk about that in other sports. And sometimes you play your best hockey on the road, or you play your best, whatever the sport is, on the road, because there aren't any other. And it's not, bad distractions necessarily, but it's just you only can really focus on that because it isn't home.
Yeah, no, and Art and I joke around about it all the time, but he swears that he always played his best hockey on the road because there was nothing to worry about. You were on a business trip, you were with the guys, whether it was schoolwork or whatnot, things back going home, and once you're there, you're just there to play hockey, and you don't have to worry about getting the crowd in it or appeasing the fans or meeting the needs with the fans and stuff like that. You just go out and play. That being said, we obviously have the best fans in the league, and we're very fortunate. And you look at our home ice record and stuff, and that's a great testament to our fans. But sometimes, like you said, you just get on the bus, go unplug, play 2 hockey games, try to get some wins, and come back and enjoy the trip with the guys. So.
And knowing our great fans, we're still going to see a few Star sweaters out there. The last time we were out there in February,
everywhere. It's incredible.
I saw a few out there, and I was so stunned. I was like, boy, that is a heck of a trip for some of these people. But who knows? Maybe they were already on the way for something else. Maybe it just was an open weekend or something. But love whenever we can see our fans on the road. So who knows with this coming weekend. Going to talk about Tanner Ludke's work this season. Feels like we talk about him a lot, but the 32 goals scored, that's now tied for 6th most in a single season in Stars history. And I've been trying to comb through the record books for a lot of these guys recently because we're at the end here. You can kind of project where some of them are gonna finish. He's not going to quite hit Kevin Waugh's total for the single season record, but this is more goals than anyone had last season. It's up there for the last few years as well. How nice has it been, Mike, to have a guy in that kind of situation? Because it has to say something when you have a guy who is probably going to put the puck in the net more often than not most nights over the course of the season. I imagine that's something for you guys as a coaching staff. It's fun to see, and it's also been fun to see his development just from last year into this year.
Yeah, I think the most impressive thing that for me and watching Tanner's development this year is his lack of complacency. You know, a younger guy who is having as much success as he's been having can often get complacent and stop putting in the work and stop shooting extra pucks and stop asking the good questions and doing the homework and stuff like that. And he hasn't. He's hungrier than ever right now. So it's completely hats off to him. You know, it's nothing that we've done. And you know, Rocky does a great job mentoring, especially with the forwards and stuff like that. But you got to give the kid a ton of credit for just being hungry every day. And he's dynamite in practice. He pushes his teammates in practice. They push back. They like to push back. They like to push T too. So it's always a friendly, healthy competition in practice. But just to see that fire only getting bigger in his belly has been the most fun thing to see in him for sure.
For me, the storyline was set there from that first game. He had 1 goal in 24 games last year, just, you know, kind of jumping in first year junior hockey. 14 seconds into the season, he's matched that total. And he pretty much has been off and running ever since then.
Yeah.
It's been so neat to see. I love watching these guys who, obviously, I didn't see them here last year. It's fun looking at the stats and seeing how almost every guy who was here last year has taken huge step forwards this year. How much of a growth is there to play multiple years of junior hockey, even if it is at the same level, Mike?
Yeah, no, absolutely. And honestly, the biggest thing I've noticed this year is even from the first half of the season to the second half, you can see some guys really come alive in the second half, especially some of the younger guys that are finally getting comfortable out there. And, you know, it's a testament to them and their abilities. And then once you stack a couple years on top of each other, now, you know, your first year, you kind of learn the ins and outs of what the daily habits are like and your rituals and kind of find your routine that works for you. And then the second year, you know, you go into that summer, like, okay, get your mindset right. And you know what to expect coming into training camp and you can hit the ground running. And I think maybe that could have happened with T. You know, I can't speak too much. I wasn't here last year on what he did from last year to this year, but you see once guys are comfortable in their daily routines and their habits, and it's just kind of automatic. It kind of takes over, and the time, all the time put in over extended periods of time is it takes off for them. So it's fun to watch.
I love that goal that he scored Saturday. We've seen so many goals from him this season where he's in the slot, he's inside the left wing circle, maybe right wing if it's a power play, gets it. It's a great wrister, or it's a one-timer who just gets fed to him and he scores. That's been his goal this year. But I loved Saturday's goal because he got to the net. And he didn't, I mean, it may have been how he wanted it, but the way the puck came up, it wasn't that usual, you know, laser right off of the stick into the net. It was a little chip shot just over the shoulder. And I thought that was a goal scorer's goal that he scored on Saturday, maybe more than any other he scored this season. Were you as impressed with that kind of play? Because for me, that was the one, as it happened, I was like, that is a sign of how he's evolved so much. It's got to be over the course of the season.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And he always picks our brain on things that he can improve and work on. And one of the conversations we had this year was to just, you know, you're going to have less time and space as the year goes on and work to get that shot off quicker and to hide your release. And I think on that goal, it was a perfect example of, we call it no dust, right? He didn't dust the puck off. He got it off right away, but he also hit his release in the fact that he went top right on the far side of the net on a goalie that was charging out at him. And it was perfectly placed. Like you said, it was almost like a chip shot type of a goal. So it was impressive. It was, you know, it was a goal scorer's goal, like you said, and little time, little space to work with. And he got it done.
The type of thing where I thought, if you're Kevin Patch, you've got to be so frustrated. You've got to be thinking, what else do I have to do? I met him in front of the net. I should be able to make that spot. Just finds a way to get past him. And real quickly, I wanted to touch on it too. You know, Antonio Fernandez, the 2 goals on Saturday, 4 goals in his last 5 games. He was not last week, the week before's USHL Defenseman of the Week. He's come on offensively here in these last couple of months. He's kind of on another one of those heaters right now. Had one of those in January as well, where it's just the puck finds a stick, but next thing you know, it's in the back of the net. What's impressed you about him?
Again, he's another guy that he just puts his head down and goes to work. I think, you know, he's somewhat of a quiet kid, and we've kind of pushed him to come out of his shell as a leader and to speak up. And, you know, he always leads by his work ethic, which is great. But sometimes we want him to take charge and be vocal because the guys are watching you and they're going to listen to you too. And so watching him come out of his shell this year as a leader has been a lot of fun. And then just getting to shoot the puck, you know, that first power play, we kind of got a little heavy with a few certain guys shooting the puck. We want all 5 guys shooting the puck. All 5 guys got to touch it. All 5 guys got to shoot. Everybody's got to be a threat. And, you know, once they kind of had to respect the Tanner side and the downhill and the Marcy side and the downhill, well, now Tony's open on the other side. So it was good to see him shooting and getting rewarded for it. So good.
Love that second goal, just winding up on a slapper. I think everyone gets a little bit excited seeing a guy do it, and then just to send that one home. I mean, I thought the roof was going to come off the icebox at that one.
Yeah,
really exciting. Well, Mike, thank you for joining us here. It's been a lot of fun having you on here tonight. And hey, let's go get 4 points this weekend.
Yeah, Joel, let's do it, man. Look forward to the road trip with you.
Awesome. That was Stars assistant coach Mike Zanella joining us. I'm Joel Norman. We're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, we'll have more Daniel Sambuco and Jared Mangan joining us next here on Outside the Box, brought to you by Raising Cane's on 93.7 The Ticket.
Nebco is hiring CDL drivers for Ready Mix Concrete, Husker Concrete, and Beatrice Concrete. Nebco offers great pay, medical, and retirement benefits, paid time off, and we pay for CDL training. Apply today to earn an average total compensation of $50,000 to $60,000 your first year driving. From Nebco's beginnings in 1908, it's the employees that have formed the company's solid foundation. Start your career today. Visit nebcoinc.com. That's NEBCOINC.com.
At Doane University, you can play a sport you love and also receive a world-class education. You'll learn leadership skills on and off the court that will set you up for success long after graduation. Doane isn't a place where you get lost. It's a place to get found, and it's a place where your future is uniquely yours. Learn more about the endless possibilities at Doane University today at doane.edu.
March is a month of good luck. From epic runs in state basketball to watching Cinderella spring the upset in college basketball. Of course, St. Patrick's Day. Luck is on your side at Mullen Motors too, because their lot is full of great vehicles to take home. Come check out their lot just north of 48th and Lincoln and find next ride, as summer road trips are just around the corner. Your luck starts this month at Mullen Motors.
No add-ons, just quality vehicles. Mullen Motors.
This is Jay Foreman. When I played football for Nebraska in the NFL, I wore protective gear to safeguard my health. Today, I'm not only protecting my health, but everyone in our community by staying up to date with the bivalent COVID vaccine. Update your protection with the bivalent COVID vaccine while it's still free. Find out more at healthylincoln.org. That's healthylincoln.org.
Guys, when I first started with Farrell's Extreme Body Shaping, I weighed in at over 300 pounds. Now, less than a year later, I'm under 200 pounds for the first time since high school. I'm stronger, I'm healthier, and it all began with the Farrell's 10-week challenge. Strength training and guided to help you your goals. Their next 10-week challenge begins on April 8th. If you're wanting to change your life like I have, head to theticketfm.com and click on Enroll Now on the homepage. Plus, get a promo code for a discount just for ticket listeners. Farrell's Extreme Body Shaping.
March is full of high school state basketball action, the NCAA tournament, baseball season starting up, all great things that also cause a lot of stress. Instead of letting your nerves get the best of you and cause uncomfortable tightness, get ahead of all with a massage from The Body Shop. The Pumpkin is your place for all types of massages, deep tissue, hydrating, sports, Swedish, hot stone, aroma, and more. And don't forget about their couples massages. Book your appointment today at thebodyshoplincoln.com. The Body Shop at 48th and A. Spring is here. It's time to get back outside and into proper shoes this year. Brown Shoe Fit is the place to buy this spring with their sale on athletic shoes. Get $10 off any athletic shoes $105 and under, and get $15 off any shoe over $105. Choose from respected brands like Hoka, Brooks, New Balance, On, and 361 Running. And don't forget the trendy Hey Dudes. A new shipment just arrived for the season. Start your spring off right at Brown Shoe Fit, just south of 66 and Q in Lincoln. Integrated Life Choices has been inspiring opportunities for individuals with disabilities for more than 15 years in Lincoln by offering a number of services. From group homes for special needs adults to independent living resources and job training, you'll find the intellectual and developmental disability services your loved one needs to live a fulfilling life. They're also hiring. If you're looking for a more rewarding career, learn more about available positions. Learn more about services for your loved ones or employment today at ilc.net. Integrated Life Choices. Nebco is hiring CDL drivers for Ready Mix Concrete, Husker Concrete, and Beatrice Concrete. Nebco offers great pay, medical, and retirement benefits, paid time off, and we pay for CDL training. Apply today to earn an average total compensation of $50,000 to $60,000 your first year driving. From Nebco's beginnings in 1908, it's the employees that have formed the company's solid foundation. Start your career today. Visit nebcoinc.com. That's NEBCOINC.com.
At Doane University, you can play a sport you love and also receive a world-class education. You'll learn leadership skills on and off the court that will set you up for success long after graduation. Doane isn't a place where you get lost. It's a place to get found, and it's a place where your future is uniquely yours. Learn more about the endless possibilities at Doane University today at doane.edu.
March is a month of good luck. From epic runs in state basketball to watching Cinderella spring the upset in college basketball. And of course, St. Patrick's Day. Luck is on your side at Mullen Motors too, because their lot is full of great vehicles to take home. Come check out their lot just north of 48th and Lincoln and find your next as summer road trips are just around the corner. Your luck starts this month at Mullen Motors.
No tag-ons, just quality vehicles. Mullen Motors.
This is Jay Foreman. When I played football for Nebraska and in the NFL, I wore protective gear to safeguard my health. Today, I'm not only protecting my health, but everyone in our community by staying up to date with the bivalent COVID vaccine. Update your protection with the COVID vaccine while it's still free. Find out more at org. It's healthylincoln.org.
Guys,
Outside the Box with Lincoln Stars head coach Rocky Russo and Lincoln Stars broadcaster Joel Norman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back into Outside the Box. You're on 93.7 The Ticket, as always being brought to you by Raising Cane's. I'm Joel Norman. We're chatting Lincoln Stars hockey here ahead of a big weekend series against the Fargo Force. We're joined by a couple of guests now in Jared Mangan and Daniel Sambuco. And Jared, I realized that earlier today that you were the first three-time guest on the show. I didn't realize that when I texted you today asking if you'd come on, but we're happy to have you on once again.
It's an honor.
And it's a good time to have you on, too, right now on a 9-game point streak. Longest active in the USHL. That's pretty exciting. But you did get, I heard the other day on your birthday for Saturday, you did have some teeth come out. So kind of a painful way to extend that streak. I'm trying to see. Yeah, I see it right there now.
Right there.
When did that come in the game?
I think it was first period, like towards the end. Yeah, I'm trying not to lisp as much, but it's kind of hard to do.
You get any emergency dental work done, I imagine, that night?
It was Monday morning. I got some done, but that's it.
I was talking earlier this season to Jack Larrigan about that because he's got a beauty of one right now. You know, he wears the hat backwards too. He's got a certain look to it. But I said something about that, and I remember him telling me, he's like, you know, the way my insurance is, it's kind of tricky. And I was like, boy, that's got to be a pain. Daniel Sambuco also joining us. Daniel, you had any instances where you lost some teeth on something unfortunate?
I've been lucky. I got all
really
all real. They're all in there. And knock on wood.
And you've been playing here in the USHL the last few years, too. Nothing, any close calls, any high sticks up there, maybe blood instead of any teeth going out?
I got a couple chips. I thought something was wrong with them earlier this year in Sioux City, but luckily nothing. So, but definitely a couple eye sticks, a couple elbows, but pretty fortunate so far.
I'm amazed more guys don't wear mouth guards. I know they're not comfortable. I know it's annoying. I'm amazed. If you guys ever have a point where you really did and you just were like, enough of this?
Yeah, I wore one for a little bit, but I don't know. You can just breathe easier with one. I feel like, I don't know. Might be like weird, but I feel like you can definitely breathe a little easier.
Yeah, and you see guys, you know, pretty much anytime they can, they're chewing on them on the side or something just because they're annoying like that. But boy, I there's some things like that. And there was someone, I think, was it Marcy the other day? He took a puck came up, got him by the ear. That was another thing I realized. I was like, forgot how few guys have anything protecting them on that side at all.
Yeah.
You see some of that. Does anyone on the Stars do that?
I don't think anyone in the league really wears the ear guards. I think it's like, I don't know why they do it, but all the trainers take them out, and I think it's just easier to slip on your head, and you know, that's my best
hair coming out the ears too.
Yeah, which of course you guys are liking to do. You have a little bit of that on the sides as well.
I do have a little bit going on, but
a little while since a cut here.
Yeah, Tony's probably got the most coming out, but
you got the fake mullet.
Yeah,
so you don't have.
I did get a little trim on the side, so it doesn't come out as more. But earlier in the year, it was
longer.
Pretty good.
I was gonna say, I'm trying to think of other guys who've had some pretty good flows this year. You know, Mason's definitely up there, number one.
Yeah,
Marcy's got great hair.
Plebes is up there.
Plebes is up there, yeah. Claws
is definitely up.
Gloves is always flat. There's no volume
Yeah.
to it at all. It's just very flat hair. It's like it's just there's never pushed up at any
Yeah.
point.
He's losing it. He's
It's
gonna go
just-
bald in the next
It's
5
super
years.
thin. He's got super thin
Yeah.
yellow hair.
Thinning hair.
Real quick though, we do got some from the text line from Chase B again. He says that referring to Jared's tooth, we watched you pick up your tooth off the ice, then a linesman bumped you and you dropped it.
Yeah, he did. He did bump me. He was coming over to see if I had any blood, and I was trying to pick up my tooth. I was like, he just bumped into me. I had to find it again on the ice. I was like, I mean, my tooth's out. I'm bleeding pretty good.
So wait, take me through it. When was that in the game? Where were you at on the ice? You take your glove off, pick it up. I imagine it's hard to pick that with the
I
glove.
didn't take my glove off. I don't know. It was like at the end of the first period, kind of like if the North Stone's over on this side, I was in the right corner over here. And it was just like on the board. So it was like in the offensive zone, went to cut back, and the guy went to lift my stick or something, just went right in my mouth.
Oh gosh. So then the tooth pops right out.
Yeah.
And then were you able to go immediately, or was it the end of your shift? You're like, okay, I'm gonna grab this for financial reasons,
Well,
obviously.
they called the penalty right away.
Right away,
And then-
okay.
But like I just felt it like on my tongue, and then I just spit it out into my glove, and then it
Oof.
fell off, and then I picked it up, and then the linesman bumped me, and then I had to pick it up again.
Yeah, I remember the drawing the penalty. I didn't realize in the moment that because I'm higher up there, I didn't see your tooth come out. So
Yeah.
was that the first broken tooth, maybe?
Yeah, that was the first one.
First one.
Yeah.
Yeah, you still have the tooth. You can keep that in a case or something somewhere. Mark it off. Like,
Corey's got it right now. I haven't seen it since the incident.
Corey's putting it under his pillow. He's
hoping for some money.
Yeah, he's
Tooth
banking
fairy
it.
come by
He's
tonight?
banking it.
Hockey player tooth. I don't know how valuable those ones are when they're chipped as well. Maybe you get like a $50 coin or
Yeah.
something for that. I don't know if you're getting the full dollar there, but either way, I'm amazed you haven't had one at any point.
Yeah, no, I'm very fortunate.
That's pretty lucky.
Yeah.
What's the worst injury maybe you've had? Is it just a high stick that catches you near the eye or something? What can you think of? And when I say injury, I'm talking like a stick infraction.
Yeah, probably the one in Sioux City. I got a high stick right in here, and like my gums were all swelled up. It was nasty, but I mean my teeth are good, so
yeah,
I got them all.
That's good.
Yeah.
You can kind of tell guys based on their smile sometimes whether
Yeah.
they've really had much going on. Jared, we see you right now. It's just that little opening right there. Just a little bit. We mentioned Jack Larrigan earlier. He's got the one as well. It's just a couple of guys. Boy, you feel bad for it.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to think of the worst stick infraction I feel like we've had this year. It might have been when Ali, well, it wasn't even a stick. It was because he got hit up high. And he was
Yeah.
bleeding all over
His
the place.
nose.
Yeah.
And that was the one at Sioux City. I think that was in February. And that was so strange because I remember asking him after the game, like, you okay? And he just said, just a lot of blood all at once in one moment. And that was really it.
Yeah.
It seemed like, I remember thinking, it's like, has he got a concussion? Has he got, is his nose broken? Like, what happened
Yeah.
there? Because it was a tough hit he took. And then I remember he had the plugs up in the nose and he was still bleeding. And he got back out. He kept having to go back to the bench. I mean, thank goodness we weren't wearing the white jerseys that day. It would have been a pain
Yeah.
for Corey to get out.
Yeah.
But I mean, what's like the worst thing you guys have seen with an injury? Was it maybe yours or something like that, Jared? Have you seen something worse?
I mean, last year when we were up in Alaska, a kid on our team got a high stick, and both of his two front teeth were gone. One popped out immediately, and the one was like bent backwards and was just hanging by a thread. And he pulled it out after the game, and it was just his two front teeth were gone.
Last year in Madison when Dunlap yeah, that was bad. So it was like a fun day, fun practice. I think we just swept and we were doing like a 3-on-3 tournament last game. And Jack Musa goes to shoot the puck. Dunlap sticks his stick out, ramps up, gets him right in the teeth, and knocked like 3 out in the bottom, and then split his lip all the way down.
That was bad.
He was eating out of a straw for like a week.
Oh.
It was pretty bad.
Smoothies only, right?
Yeah, it was bad.
Gosh, I never played hockey. I played like street hockey with
Mhm.
friends. I had one time I took a high stick like right above my right eye, and it was just we were just turning the other way. My friend just raised his stick up because he was running the other way. I had to get stitches on that. I just remember my parents being upset and everyone going, "Oh, why didn't you wear a helmet?" It's like no one wears a
Yeah.
helmet in street hockey. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
I was like, we're just screwing around here, like. But I remember I got every day. Oh, Joel, why wouldn't you wear a helmet if you're playing hockey? It's like, you think I want to wear a cage or something? But that was always funny. But I'm trying to think. I mean, we haven't seen too many bad injuries, fortunately, this year. You always wonder a few times, but I mean, a couple of guys. Jimmy did get the one. His lip was at Fargo, right? He took a high stick up there. He was in the.
Oh yeah, that That one was all right. I mean, at least he didn't get any teeth, but his lip was pretty messed up.
Yeah, I remember he had a fat lip after the game on that, and he wore the bubble for a few weeks. You guys ever worn one of the bubble helmets?
Yeah, last year.
Did you have one last year?
I got 3 stitches on my lip, and I wore a bubble the rest of the year.
Oh man, what was that like? That's got to be different.
Yeah, it was a little weird. I mean, it was only 3, so it wasn't too bad, but it was like right in the corner, and then I don't know. That was the only excuse I needed to put it on.
Was it better than wearing a cage though? Because those cages, for me, like you can't see much through.
I'm
that.
a cage guy.
You like them?
I do like the cage.
You like the cage?
I can't breathe in the bubbles. I feel like it fogs up, and
That's
then
fair.
I'm like really sweating in there. Can't breathe. I feel like it's tough.
The bubble, you gotta definitely get used to it. It took a little bit to get used to.
Yeah. Did you do like an anti-fog spray or something? Like during COVID, when we had to wear masks, I would spray my glasses with that so I could see with them on. Did you do something like that?
I just did the same stuff that you do, like the visors.
Yeah, just to keep that clean. I heard like dish soap is another one you can do with those.
We use that.
It's like Pledge.
Yeah, Pledge.
You use Pledge?
Yeah,
okay.
lemon Pledge, and we just spray the visors and wipe them, and they're pretty good. Clean them up, and get all the like nicks out, and so they work.
The smell probably goes away pretty quickly. A couple shifts in, right?
Yeah. I like it. I think it smells good.
It smells pretty good.
We got another text from an unknown texter saying you should auction off the tooth with a signed jersey on top of it. Make some money out of it.
I mean, if somebody wants it, I'll give it to them.
We did just have our last jersey auction this past Saturday, but I think, Jared, was that a couple of weeks ago? I think it was the Aubrey Brown Club when I asked you, were you going to throw in the hat with because you had that, I don't even know what to call those hats. It's like that. It's
Scally.
That's what it's officially
Scally
called?
Cap, yeah.
A Scally cap. Okay. I've always just thought of it as like a dad one, but I remember saying like, "Well, can we get that in?" You were like, "Yeah, if we get 1,000 on it, we'll do it." We were just short, but maybe there's another one that comes around. We get around that 1,000. Gerald will throw in his tooth there.
Nice little tooth and a hat.
That would be
I
something.
might have to get up to like 3,000.
Have to be a little more for that. We're going to take a break. When we come back, maybe we'll talk a little more hockey injuries. Maybe we'll talk a little on the ice action as well as we continue here on Outside the Box, being brought to you by Raising Cane's.
Nebco is hiring CDL drivers for Ready Mix Concrete, Husker Concrete, and Beatrice Concrete. Nebco offers great medical paid CDL training. Total compensation 50 year drive in 08. Solid foundation. NEBCOinc.com. That's NEBCINC.
At Doane University, you can play a sport you love and also receive a world-class education. You'll learn leadership skills on and off the court that will set you up for success long after graduation. Doane isn't a place where you get lost. It's a place to get found, and it's a place where your future is uniquely yours. Learn more about the endless possibilities at Doane University today at doane.edu.
March is a month of good luck. From epic runs in state basketball to watching Cinderella spring the upset in college basketball. And of course, St. Patrick's Day. Luck is on your side at Mullen Motors too, because their lot is full of great vehicles to take home. Come check out their lot just north of 48th and Layton and find your next ride, as summer road trips are just around the corner. Your luck starts this month at Mullen Motors.
No tag-ons, just quality vehicles. Mullen Motors.
This is Jay Foreman. When I played football for Nebraska and in the NFL, I wore protective gear to safeguard my health. Today, I'm not only protecting my health, but everyone in our community by staying up to date with the bivalent COVID vaccine. Update your protection with the bivalent COVID vaccine while it's still free. Find out more at healthylincoln.org. That's healthylincoln.org.
Guys, when I first started with Farrell's Extreme Body Shaping, I weighed in at over 300 pounds. Now, less than a year later, I'm under 200 pounds for the first time since high school. I'm stronger, I'm healthier, and it all began with the Farrell's 10-Week Challenge. 10 weeks of strength training and guided nutrition coaching to help you reach your fitness goals. Their next 10-week challenge begins on April 8th. If you're wanting to change your life like I have, head to the ticketfm.com. Enroll now on the homepage. Plus, get a promo code for a discount just for ticket listeners. Farrell's Extreme Body Shaping.
March is full of high school state basketball action, the NCAA tournament, baseball season starting up, all great things that also cause a lot of stress. Instead of letting your nerves get the best of you and cause uncomfortable tightness, get ahead of all of it with a massage from The Body Shop. The Body Shop in Lincoln is your place for all types of massages, deep tissue, hydrating, sports, Swedish, hot stone, aroma, and more. And don't forget about their couples massages. Book your appointment today at thebodyshoplincoln.com. The Body Shop at 48th and A. Spring is here. It's time to get back outside and into proper shoes this year. Brown Shoe Fit is the place to buy this spring with their sale on athletic shoes. Get $10 off any athletic shoes $105 and under, and get $15 off any shoe over $105. Choose from respected brands like Hoka, Brooks, New Balance, On, and 361 Running. And don't forget the trendy Hey Dudes. A new shipment just arrived for the season. Start your spring off right at Brown Shoe Fit, just south of 66 and Q in Lincoln. Integrated Life Choices has been inspiring opportunities for individuals with disabilities for more than 15 years in Lincoln by offering a number of services. From group homes for special needs adults to independent living resources and job training, you'll find the intellectual and developmental disability services needs to live a fulfilling life. They're also hiring. If you're looking for a more rewarding career, learn more about available positions. Learn more about services for your loved ones or employment today at ilc.net. Integrated Life Choices. Nebco is hiring CDL drivers for Ready Mix Concrete, Husker Concrete, and Beatrice Concrete. Nebco offers great pay, medical, and retirement benefits, paid time off, and we pay for CDL training. Apply today to earn an average total compensation of $50,000 to $60,000 your first year driving. From Nebco's beginnings in 1908, it's the employees that have formed the company's solid foundation. Start your career today. Visit nebcoinc.com. That's NEBCOINC.com.
It's time for Outside the Box with Lincoln Stars head coach Rocky Russo and Lincoln Stars broadcaster Joel Norman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Final segment of the night here on Outside the Box, being brought to you by Raising Cane's, 93.7 The Ticket. I'm Joel Norman, broadcaster for the Stars. We're joined by forwards Jared Mangan and Daniel Sambuco. And guys, the playoffs are quickly approaching here. We've got 4 games left in the regular season. I was asking you a little bit off air what the team might be doing. Now, a couple of years down the road, you guys will probably be looking at just doing something like mustaches, as people are very familiar with for the NHL. What's the team planning to do, though, for the postseason? You guys have something everyone in the locker room is in agreement on?
I mean, there's a little argument going on about what we want to do, but I think mullets are the top one right now. So
I might go both. Mustache.
Both.
I might do a full goatee and a mullet. Just call it at that.
That would look good.
It's an intimidation factor if you do that, for sure.
The thing is like with that mullet, once you get the helmet on, you can't see it.
Yeah.
So that's my thing.
Well, if you get enough out the back, you get the flow in the back going.
My hair doesn't bend like that. Like mine just goes flat when I
flat.
sweat. Yeah.
Yeah, at this point, if you're doing the mullets, it's mostly just for those walk-in pictures. Let's
Pretty
be
much.
honest.
Yeah,
We know
pretty much.
that's what you're focusing on at that point. It's just for the walk-in photos.
For
But
the most part.
I was gonna say, who would have the best mullet on the team if you guys were to grow them out for the playoffs?
I feel like Tony would have a pretty good one, but he's not going to cut it.
No,
I don't think he will.
He wouldn't do it.
I think Raph would have a good one.
I can see that.
Just because he's got like that 90s perm going
Yep,
on right
yep.
now.
Yeah, Raph.
Yeah.
Nelly would have a good one.
Nelly would. Dougie?
Dougie would have a good one.
Didn't he have it? None you guys weren't here either, but I thought I saw photos last year. He had much longer hair last
He
season.
did. Yeah, he did.
So, yeah, I could see that. I'm trying to think of who else would be out there. Massey's got long hair, so he could
Yeah.
probably do something there.
I don't know what he's doing with
His,
that right
his
now.
would be pretty nuts if he kept it that long.
Yeah. Who would have the worst mullets?
Kleber.
Claves.
Marcy would probably have one of the best. Marcy would have a really good mullet.
So we've been repeatedly tossing those 3 in there. Boy, put them on the Mount Rushmore. Worst Stars hair. Who'd be the 4th guy then? Worst Stars hair.
You know what I just thought of?
Huh.
Whitey would have a good one.
Oh,
You
yeah.
think so?
Whitey would have a good one.
Whitey would have a
Yeah.
really good one.
Yeah, that's a
If he
good
has that
point.
curly hair.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a
That'd be
good
good.
point. It's
Yeah.
kind of what you're talking about, like with
Yeah, the
Raftery.
90s perm.
Mhm.
Whitey's got that covered.
Yeah, that would help a little bit.
Uh-huh.
You gotta shave the sides though, right? Like
Yeah.
if you're doing that, you gotta have that be pretty thin.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
not
that
just
would
enough
thin,
to have.
but not too thin, so you get like the lines going.
Yeah, that's a good point. The team I was with last year, they did that. They did like the lines on the side, really let it flow out the back, and it was the same way. If you had curly hair, it was really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Whitey would have a good one.
Whitey would have a good one.
I don't think if his hair's been that long on the back yet, though. Would he be able to get there in time?
There was one point where it was pretty long.
Was it?
Yeah, it
It's
was
not bad right now. If he
Uh-uh.
like chips up the top and the sides, like
yeah.
it could look pretty good.
We'll see what he does with it.
Who would be the barber for the team? Because usually when they do this stuff, like there's someone who will kind of do it for everyone. Who would be that person?
I would not trust anybody. I'd go somewhere
Else?
Yeah, I would not.
I go to Dougie's Billet Mom for my haircuts, so I'd probably just ask her.
I asked him about that because he told me it's Michelle Nichols. He was
Mhm.
telling me that she cuts hair. I said, so obviously yours is going to be the best because you're staying there. But I said, I was like, this is an exclusive thing. You got to be in the know kind of to have this. And he was like, yeah, kind of. There's a few guys who go there, but that'd be certainly cool. So maybe she's listening and maybe she's ready to go with her razors.
Yeah, hopefully she comes in one day and it's just like, all right, and gets all
Today's the day.
26 of us.
Oh my gosh. Would there be anyone who wouldn't do it?
I don't think Tony would do it. Tony said he
Think so?
wouldn't.
Tony,
He's
loves
got great
his,
hair,
he
so I don't
loves his
blame
hair.
him.
He loves his hair.
Massey said he wouldn't do it, but I don't know. I think we could pressure him to do it.
Because I remember the only other hair challenge you guys did was back in November for No Shave
Yeah, No
November.
Shave.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember who had the best for that. A couple guys had good ones. Jared, you look good with the felt one. That was for the
Yeah.
pictures. I don't know. Did your hair ever get up to that
It
point?
didn't really ever get there. I'm not gonna lie. It didn't really ever get there. A little peach fuzz, but that was it.
It's something. It didn't color it though. It's not at that point. Daniel, we were talking about this before. You got the 5 o'clock shadow a lot.
Yeah.
In there, how was your mustache back in November?
I had a pretty good goatee.
Goatee?
So what I did was I grew it all out until the last day, and then I shaved it into a goatee, and
That's
then I
pretty
took
good.
my picture.
That's pretty
so,
good.
yeah, I get my mustache doesn't fill in a whole lot, but from here down does. So
Yours will connect because when I was about your age, it wouldn't connect very well.
it barely connects. It's like 3 hairs that connect. So
It's something.
it's
something.
close. It's close.
Who are some other guys who did good with their mustaches?
Massey.
Massey.
Yeah. Massey
It's
gets
bold for a goalie getting in on it.
Yeah.
Because
He
they're their own animals
Mhm.
in a way. I was impressed that he did. He had a good one.
Yeah, really. I think he raised the most money for it too.
That's pretty good.
He
I
was up
thought
there.
Raps was pretty funny.
Yeah,
Raph
Raph
was
had it.
pretty
Well,
funny.
I think Raph just has that 90s vibe to him, just the way he looks. So the mustache is added in it.
Fans probably love that. It brings
Yeah.
it back a little bit there
Yeah.
too. I'm trying to think who had the worst ones were guys who were actually trying to grow. You don't have to include yourself, Jared. It's all right.
I'll put
DJ.
myself up there.
DJ.
DJ was pretty bad. Can't really see it.
DJ's is he not? He's
he-
the oldest guy on the team too.
Yeah, yeah. Well, he's got the red hair, so
Yeah.
and super pale skin. So
That's not conducive to
he,
facial hair.
he did just for men it though.
Yeah.
They got
Did
a
he
little
really?
dark- Yeah, got a
He
little
just
dark.
fermented just for a mustache.
Yep.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
I just remended mine at least 3 times and you still couldn't see it. At least 3 times. It was bad.
That's not good. I'm trying to think now. You just had your birthday this past weekend. What are you at now?
Just turned 20.
20.
Yeah.
Okay. That's that time. It's got to start kicking in
Yeah,
here.
I hopefully it stays like this. I like the clean look, so I don't have
good.
to shave a lot. But.
I did a little bit of experimenting with facial hair in college. None of it was good. Looking back at it, at the time I thought it was cool. I did the long hair and I did that. It's like, oh yeah, I'm cool. But no, in the long term, it didn't. So you can't go wrong with clean shaving. You
Yeah.
can go wrong sometimes with facial hair unless you do it really well.
Mhm.
But so definitely a challenge. I guess we should talk a little bit of hockey before we get done here, guys. Taking on Fargo this weekend. What excites you about that one? Because it was such a tough series the last time we were up there, but 2 really close games. And I feel like we've been saying this for the last month. The playoff mentality is already in, but it really ramps up a little bit with a road game against the same opponent both nights.
Oh yeah, it's definitely gonna be a good time. Series is pretty tight. Like we're 3-3 right now, and they're definitely give us their best game when we play them. So it'll be fun.
Yeah, I imagine it's going to be a heck of a challenge. And, Daniel, what was done the last time you guys were there it wasn't like it was a bad game by any means. It was just a couple of stretches where Fargo, they cashed in. They were opportunistic in those games. What's some stuff that you guys have been kind of highlighting ahead of this weekend to focus on?
I think just playing with pace and really honing in on the D zone. We've modified a couple things in our D zone since the last time we played them, so I think that'll really help us. But all in all, I think just playing fast and heavy and hard on them, eliminating their time and space and skill, and I think that's gonna be a big part for us this weekend.
Yeah, we'll see what you guys can do. It's going to be fun. Top team in the Western Conference. You guys are in third, hoping to jump Waterloo. Boy, if they could just lose a game here.
Yeah.
A couple of these late rallies they've had. Hopefully they can lose 1 or 2 over the weekend. Thanks for joining us, guys, and good luck this weekend. Let's go get 4 points.
Thanks, Joel.
Jared Mangan and Daniel Sambuco joining me. I'm Joel Norman. The Stars taking on the Force Friday and Saturday on the road. 2 Fridays from now. is the final home regular season game. Get your tickets at LincolnStars.com. This has been Outside the Box, brought to you by Raising Cane's on 93.7 The Ticket.